WHAS.
Tony Cruz, the morning team at 7:37. Tim Snyder is with us. Tim is an oil industry expert with Crudefunders.com. Hello, Tim.
Good morning, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Tell me about your website, Crudefunders.com. Is this for crude funders?
Yes, it certainly is. This is the very first ever web-supported portal for the average American citizen to get involved in the oil and gas industry. For as little as $1,000, you can invest in the next great oil boom that we think is going to be coming here probably within the next 6 or 7 weeks to 6 or 7 months. So it's a great opportunity. It's the first ever for not just the accredited investor, but for the average investor as well.
So what do you mean next 6, 7 weeks or 6, 7 months? What do you think is going to happen with the oil?
Well, I think we're going to start seeing this, this oversupply that we've been dealing with in crude oil is going to start working its way out. We're going to be watching for today's Baker Hughes rig count that comes out at noon today. We'll see where that puts us.
Now tell us, I'm a layperson guy, so I mean, what does that mean to the audience?
Absolutely.
Sure, sorry.
The Baker Hughes rig count is our measure of how many active drilling rigs there are in the United States. Right now, let me just put it this way. When we were at the peak of our production, we were up to about 1,800 crude oil drilling rigs alone by themselves. Today, we're at 330. So that's a significant decrease in the amount of production that we've put on board. And, that's really the impetus behind where we think that crude oil is going to be going, because as we decrease the production of crude oil in the United States and demand continues to go up, it continues to go because we have new drivers, we've got all kinds of opportunities out there. We see the demand go up. We also see supply begin to tighten here in the U.S. So that's just a natural occurrence when you see those kinds of things, that prices will start to move their way up, which means one thing, and that's jobs. Well,
we always heard the mantra 5, 6 years ago, maybe longer, drill, baby, drill. Sarah Palin made that famous. We started drilling, and next thing you know, that we started losing jobs too, didn't we?
Well, yeah, we did, but that wasn't because of the United States. The United States...
That's because of OPEC, right?
Yeah, it was OPEC. It was OPEC and the Saudis. They didn't like where we were standing from the standpoint of our production, because we're beginning to become a little bit more energy independent. The United States of America is the largest producer of oil and gas in the world, and we've got a substantial amount of natural gas and tremendous crude oil reserves that we can draw on. And this is the beginning. Right now is the very beginning of the next great boom.
Let me ask you that question regarding the boom, though. OPEC, it doesn't look like they're going to give up anytime soon. So what's going to change? I mean, are some other productions going to go out? I mean, we've also seen a number of, down in Texas, independent oil rigs go down. Are they still able to capture oil, but they it just wasn't profitable for them, or what?
Well, one of the things that happens when we have a downturn like this is we increase productivity. We become innovative, and the industry always finds a way to, tighten the purse strings and tighten the screws and find ways to be more productive. And when I say more productive, that means reducing the cost of drilling a crude oil well or a natural gas well. And so we have gone through that. Also, the United States reduced its own production. We have dropped precipitously from an average of about 9.6 million barrels per day of U.S. production to an average of about 8.4, really, in about a year. So that's 1 million barrels a day that we've reduced in our own production. And that's something that we look at from the standpoint of how we support gasoline prices. And when we're looking at the gasoline prices for this coming 4th of July weekend, it's going to be at an 11-year low,
right,
in gasoline prices, which is a good benefit for the consumer.
So it is, but it's not too good for your industry. So what's going to make the comeback?
Well, I think what's going to make the comeback is we see the oversupply that we have in crude oil begin to subside. In other words, to decline that oversupply. I think demand is going to have to come up just a little bit. I am just a little bit concerned about the demand in Europe, but right now in the United States, if we can get demand to continue to rise on the level that it's been rising, I think we'll be in great shape. We'll start seeing crude oil back above, we can get it back above $50 on a consistent basis. We'll see jobs come back in. We'll see investment back in this thing. And we'll also see the overall economy begin to grow at a level above 1.1 or 1.2% that was reported in the last gross domestic product report last week.
How much of your industry is related to more fuel-efficient vehicles that come out every year, and more specifically, maybe even the running of new energy resources or electric cars, that kind of thing? How much impact does it have on the industry?
Well, it has a minimal effect right now because there's just not the volume. There's not the strength in numbers that you would have to have for that to have a negative effect. From the standpoint of our concept, we're kind of a all-comers kind of a program. We believe that, hey, generate all that you can, be as innovative as you possibly can. That's what Crudefunders is. Crudefunders is an innovative company. We find, unique ways for an investment opportunity, number one, but number two, in an industry that we believe is going to boom again. Mm-hmm. And, the cheapest form of energy right now is crude oil, and it's the cheapest way to natural gas, cheapest way to heat your home and those kinds of things. So, if we continue to go that way, and in Kentucky and you guys' area, coal is a very important resource as well. Crude oil is the lifeblood of making all of these industries continue to run, and it's the cheapest form, and it's good for the economy.
Final question. What happened to Triangle USA Petroleum Company? It was a big, one of the largest shale oil reservoirs in North America. What happened to that company, and what makes you feel positive about turning this stuff around?
Well, I'll tell you what makes me positive about this right now is you look at these shale plays, and there has been tremendous innovation in the shale plays that, more than anybody can possibly imagine, since it was so darn expensive to drill a rig. It used to cost upwards of $10, $11 million to drill a rig in the shale play and do the hydraulic fracturing and all the things that you need to have to make that happen. I listened to Dr. Scott Tinker yesterday from the University of Texas, and he was talking about the innovations that they have made. They've brought the cost of drilling down. They've made it more prolific. It's a lot more productive, and so I think that's what's going to turn things around. We get above $50 a barrel, and we start moving ahead. Then we'll see those jobs come back. We'll see those, drilling opportunities come back, and it'll be at a different metric, a different level on the playing field from just a beginning of investment type scenario.
Good luck to you, Tim. Thanks. Crudefunders.com. People can check it out. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks, Tony.
That's Tim Snyder, oil industry expert extraordinaire. 744 News Radio 840 WHAS.